Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. All right, I might be the first one to say it. I don't know. I want to be the first one to say it. The next president of the United States is going to be a Republican. No one saw this coming, Trump being reelected. Nobody saw it coming. I didn't see it coming. I did not vote for him because of the shit that he says sometimes. But I'm going to tell you, some of the things that he's talking about doing, I support. And you got to think, there are some foreigners that have come here that are going to support some of the things he's doing. But he's so radical that he should have never been allowed to be president again. The one to blame for all of this is not the Democrats. It's not, the Attorney General now, Garland. It's not him. The one to blame that we have Trump as president this time is Mitch McConnell. Because if you remember, Mitch McConnell blocked the ability to impeach him the second time, which would have made him ineligible to run for president again. And now Mitch McConnell is regretting his decision. Everybody's regretting it. So anyway, I just want to listen to a little bit of Thom Hartmann. Thom Hartmann, those of you all that are not subscribed to Thom Hartmann or are into different things right now, this is not the time to be talking about everyday shit. This is the time to be paying attention to what's going on in our country. And those of y'all that don't, your grandchildren 20 years from now and ask you about this shit, and you'll be like, I don't know. What the fuck you mean you don't know? That's like me asking my parents about the civil rights movement in the 1960s and what it was like to have a water faucet that says whites only, or another water faucet that says coloreds only. What was that like? And they say, I don't, what the fuck you mean you don't know? There's a lot of people that are not even paying attention to what the fuck's going on. Anyway, I'm going to play, Thom Hartmann is on it every day. Those of y'all don't know, but during the day, Monday through Friday, he's all over everything. And I really like, I want you to listen to this. I should get my speaker. Oh, fuck it. If you can't hear it, go to his channel and look it up.
Excuse me, Stephen Miller recently tweeted that they want to start in 2025 a denaturalization process. Denaturalization is where you strip people of their U.S. citizenship. Now, the principal way that people, second generation immigrants, in other words, people whose parents came here as immigrants, acquire citizenship is through what's called birthright citizenship, which is written into the 14th Amendment. And what it says basically is if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States. Now, we can debate whether that's a wonderful thing or not. There's very few countries actually that have birthright citizenship. In most countries, you have to, either you're a citizen by lineage, or you have to jump through a bunch of hoops, as it were.
But here in the United States, Stephen Miller recently tweeted that they want to start in 2025 a denaturalization process. Denaturalization is where you strip people of their U.S. citizenship. Now, the principal way that people, second generation immigrants, in other words, people whose parents came here as immigrants, acquire citizenship is through what's called birthright citizenship, which is written into the 14th Amendment. And what it says basically is if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States. Now, we can debate whether that's a wonderful thing or not. There's very few countries actually that have birthright citizenship. In most countries, you have to, either you're a citizen by lineage, or you have to jump through a bunch of hoops, as it were. But here in the United States, if mom can get here and give birth to you, you are a citizen. So Stephen Miller, as I mentioned, said he wants to do a denaturalization process. Now, that generally speaking, naturalized citizens are people who were not citizens when they came here, but applied for citizenship and received it. So there's kind of three categories here: people who were, who are what you might call a natural born citizen. In other words, their parents were citizens, and therefore they are citizens, and they were born in the United States. Category number one. And nobody's talking about going after those folks. Category number two, people who applied for citizenship and got it, naturalized citizen. And category number three, birthright citizens. That is, mom came to this country, dropped the baby is you are now a citizen, even though mom wasn't. And that's birthright citizenship. So, as I mentioned, Stephen Miller wants to undo the people who have applied for citizenship. And by the way, for the last, half a decade, maybe longer, maybe more than a decade, more than 50% of people applying for and receiving naturalization, receiving U.S. citizenship, have not been white. The majority of these naturalized citizens are not white people. It's not white people from Europe who are clamoring to get into the United States. If anything, it's the other way around. But people of color from all over the world are trying to get into the United States, and that's what Stephen Miller wants to reverse. But it always seemed that, birthright citizenship was, okay. What's the big deal? People get here, they have a baby, their baby has U.S. citizenship. Well, this is what Judge James Ho of the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court said in an interview on a podcast recently. He said, and I quote, "Birthright citizenship obviously doesn't apply in case of war or invasion. No one, to my knowledge, has ever argued that the children of invading aliens are entitled to birthright citizenship. And I can't..."
Hold on. Let me translate. So what he's saying, and this is the language of the conservatives the last few years, right? That allowing people to come in here in droves, thousands of people every fucking day, is an invasion, actually an act of war. So what they want to do is classify that as an invasion. Therefore, all of the people who applied for citizenship or were born here as a result of that, or are children of the people that came here and they became citizens, but their parents aren't, they want them all fucking... those people that are U.S. citizens now, they want them all uncitizenshipped. They want them not to have citizenship. They want, and then they want to deport them. You know what? I kind of agree with that. What I'm saying is, the things Trump is doing, a lot of people are going to agree with. Hold on a minute. I just went through Atlanta yesterday, and out in the suburbs of Sandy Springs, all that. There were Hispanics everywhere. They were taking our jobs. They're everywhere. They're in all these buildings doing construction, all kind of shit. They are everywhere. Well, no wonder there's not. There's not. Come on now. So I'm just saying. God knows. Look, I went to high school with Hispanics, but at some point there's too many. It has been an invasion, and they're taking away from our jobs. And God knows they have a right to seek a better life. But at some point when they come here, they speak their own languages. You ever go into warehouses down in Laredo, all around Texas, and everything like that, California? They only hire themselves. They may hire one American that's not Hispanic. Everybody else in the warehouse is Hispanic. They only speak their own language. Let's just keep it real here. They don't come here. They come here and they want to be grafted into our society. But it doesn't reciprocate. In other words, when they open up a warehouse, they don't also hire American citizens. They just hire themselves, and maybe one or two Americans just to say they're inclusive. That's what they're doing. So now, it was good for the goose. It's good for the goddamn gander. They voted Trump in, and I got a feeling this is going to backfire on these. All these immigrants that came here, this is all black people are the problem. African Americans are the problem. They've been, you hoodwinked. They are about to get a dose of reality. the first things Caucasians normally do, they're going to go after the Haitians, the Jamaicans, and the Africans that have come here, and they are migrating in like warp speed right over to the Hispanics and all these Mexicans that come here, Honduras, all down there in South America, Central America, all them. They're going after them too, and they're also going after these. God forgive me. These I want to call them ragheads. But these Arabs are over here in droves, man. Not only are they over here, we allow them to come over here, and then they have the nerve to wear those turbans, which is their culture, but then they put their own foreign language just on the side of their trucks and stuff. You ever notice that? They're not even trying to assimilate with the United States. No, they want their own culture magnified and shit like that, right? Which, in some ways, is a slap in the face. You're allowed to come here. You don't have air conditioning everywhere you go where you come from. You don't have clean water to drink everywhere you go where you come from. You motherfuckers run around in sandals so much. When you come over here, you're still walking around in sandals, even though we got tennis shoes you can buy for almost nothing. You're still walking around in goddamn flip-flops. No, let's keep it 100 here. I'm keeping it 100. That's 'cause we're talking about culture. We're talking about culture here. I'm just saying, that's at some point you got to realize some of these countries these people come from, they don't even have toilets everywhere. I know some people don't believe it. It's just a fact. Some places when you go there, they don't even have toilet paper in the restrooms, man. You ever hear people say, well, when you go over there, you got to bring your own toilet paper? Even if you have a hotel room, you got to bring your own toilet. How ridiculous is that? And so they got this little thing where you wash your ass in the damn restroom. It's insane. These are uncivilized people. Oh, hold on. Let's just continue.
Imagine that the legal people get here, they have a baby, their baby has U.S. citizenship. Well, this is what Judge James Ho of the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court said in an interview on a podcast recently. He said, and I quote, "Birthright citizenship obviously doesn't apply in case of war or invasion. No one, to my knowledge, has ever argued that the children of invading aliens are entitled to birthright citizenship. And I can't imagine that what the legal argument for that would be. It's like the debate over unlawful combatants after 9/11. Everybody agrees that birthright citizenship does not apply to the children of lawful combatants. And it's hard to see anyone arguing that unlawful combatants should be treated more favorably than lawful combatants." What he's talking about here is finding a sneaky little loophole to get the Supreme Court. It would start, in the Fifth Circuit with him to get that. And he was one of these guys who was like, gung-ho with Trump's torture stuff. But this is a sneaky way to get, or not, I don't know if it's sneaky. I mean, he's coming around and saying it, but a way to get a case before the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court can say, the Constitution says if you're born here, you're a citizen, but we're not sure. And if your parents came here legally and you were born here, then sure, you're a citizen. But if your parents came here illegally, then you're part of an invading army. And therefore, even though you were born here, you're not entitled to citizenship under this logic that Judge James Ho of the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is laying out. And I would bet you anything, Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito and probably at least three of the other right-wing justices would be totally down with this kind of logic. So we might be...
No, not only them. Hell, half the African-American population will be on board with that. And probably 20% of the Hispanic Americans that have been here for 150 years or some shit, half of them would probably, 40% of them would be, or at least 20% of them would be on board with that, which means that alone is enough to give Trump another, let's say he does some crazy shit and wants to have the third term, which you say, you can't. They can change the standards to where a president can go for a third term. Who in the hell is going to be against it? Let me say that wrong. There are more people that are going to support it if he continues doing shit like this than that are going to be against it. And he might fuck around and get a third term. question is he allowed for a third term? Could he defeat the likes of Obama or Bill Clinton running again? That's the question. And the answer is no, he couldn't, but Clinton is not going to run for a third term. And Michelle Obama is not going to let Obama go for a third term. So it's going to be a hell of a time. Anyway, that's not all. This country likes bullies. Let me show you what Trump is doing right now in everybody's face. Hold on.
In other news today, Steve Bannon has threatened MSNBC. He told MSNBC's Ari Melber yesterday that all you hosts and the producers at the network had better lawyer up because Matt Gaetz's Justice Department is going to be coming after you. He said the American people weighed in and you were inundated for years. Weissman, you were on TV with MSNBC and all the producers, MSNBC. Preserve your documents. Ari Melber and all your hosts, preserve your documents. All of it, Bannon said. You better be worried. You better lawyer up. Some of you young producers, you better call mom and dad tonight. Mom and dad, you know a good lawyer? Lawyer up, Bannon said. You tried to destroy Trump. You tried to imprison Trump. You tried to break Trump. He's not breakable. You couldn't destroy him. And now he's turned on you, and he's put a firebrand in charge of Maine Justice, the Department of Justice, and you're going to have to live with it. So, number one, they're coming to take us away, ha-ha, as the old song went. Number two, Bill O'Reilly argued that President-elect Donald Trump's nominations that he's announced so far are part of a top-down strategy where Trump will run everything through loyal supporters. This is what Bill O'Reilly said. He said Hegseth is, the nominee for defense secretary. Hegseth is going to watch the generals because Trump got so burned by that. And he's so angry that he wants a watchdog play with Pete Hegseth, okay? And he's a very loyal guy to Trump. So you have to understand it's a top down on Trump. Trump is going to run everything, and he wants eyes and ears in all the areas reporting back to him. That's how this country is going to be run. Bill O'Reilly summed it up saying that Trump felt burned by D.C. during his first administration. And he's going to stick to the MAGA faithful in his second administration. Meanwhile, Trump is starting to sue the media, and he's coming after them aggressively. Trump's lawyer, Edward Palcic, issued a letter to the New York Times and Penguin Random House that demanded $10 billion in damages over articles critical of Trump. He accused the article's author, Peter Baker, Michael Schmidt, Suzanne Craig, and Russ Buettner for false and defamatory statements about Trump, adding that the New York Times is a full-throated mouthpiece of the Democratic Party that wages industrial-scale libel against political opponents. He's suing the publisher, Penguin Random House, for because of this book by Buettner and Craig. It's called Lucky Loser, How Donald Trump Squandered His Father's Fortune and Created the Illusion of Success. They also identify an October 20th article by Baker titled, For Trump, a Lifetime of Scandals Heads Toward a Moment of Justice. This was in the New York Times, as well as an October 22 article by Schmidt titled, As Election Nears, Kelly Warns Trump Would Rule Like a Dictator. The Columbia Journalism Review reports that on November 5th, lawyers for Trump's campaign co-chief Chris LaCivita issued a letter to the Daily Beast demanding the outlet correct its articles that said LaCivita raised $22 million to help Trump's reelection. In response to the letter, the Daily Beast added an editor's note to the article saying, based on a further review of FEC records, the correct amount is $19.2 million. The Beast regrets the error. The article has also been updated to make clear that payments were to LaCivita's LLC, not to him personally. But that wasn't enough for the Trump campaign. They said this does not remedy, and they're still going after him. Trump and his lawyers have now sued CBS News, alleging that the 7 October interview with Kamala Harris was election interference. They want $10 billion in damages from CBS News. And they've also complained to the Federal Election Commission about the Washington Post. They are coming after the media, as I predicted. The response to this is wild. I got a call this morning from a friend of mine who lives in Washington, D.C. and knows a number of highly placed people, mostly from the former Clinton administration and the Hillary Clinton campaign, who said that, who gave me the names of a couple of people he knows who are actually this month leaving the country. They're like moving their residences out of the United States. So here, this article by Brad Reed over at Raw Story is titled "Ex-Trump Officials Apply for Foreign Citizenship as They Finalize Plans to Flee." Multiple people who work for President-elect Donald Trump's first administration are making plans to flee the country for fear that he might target them once he retakes power in January. The Washington Post reports that a retired U.S. Army officer who clashed with Trump officials, a member of Trump's first administration who has publicly denounced him, I'm guessing that would be General Kelly, but who knows, it might have been Milley, and a former United States intelligence official are all making plans to flee to foreign nations ahead of Trump's second inauguration. A retired Army officer who's been applying for Italian citizenship told the Post of the Trump appointments. He says, "I feel like I've stepped through the looking glass." Mark Zaid, a national security lawyer who has represented government whistleblowers, tells the Post he's been counseling clients about their options for fleeing the country once Trump returns to the White House. It's wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff. All that and the Russia report, is, which is basically about Tulsi Gabbard this morning. It's going to curl your toes. I'll get to that on the other side of the break, and I'll be picking up your calls for the rest of the hour.
No. I want to know what is so shocking. All right, okay, hold on. Okay, wait. The entire Justice Department, the intelligence agencies, the FBI, the CIA, all major news organizations except Fox News and those other two others that I can't even think of, Max News or whatever, have been, as a collective group, going after Trump's money, going after his name, threatening his freedom and liberty, giving him 34 felonies, and prosecuting him both in not just federally, where he can be pardoned by Biden or somebody, but no, that wasn't good enough. They've been prosecuting him under state statutes so that he won't be pardoned in New York and Georgia. Let me tell you, man, Trump has got a right. They never thought, what if he gets elected? They never considered that. He gets to sue them for everything, for all the money he's lost, for all the damages, for their conspiracy to demean his name. This man, look, what I'm saying is, this scares everybody. It scares everybody. But I'm saying, wouldn't you do the same thing? This is almost biblical. All these agencies came after him, and now he's going to be in control of all these agencies. So much so that he said the generals got to go through a litmus test. If you're not on board with the obeying your superiors, then we will just take your stripes away from you, and we're going to demand you retire. That's right. He's going to demote some of these 4-star generals. Oh my God, the shit they're saying right now. So, okay. I'm saying that there is a large portion of America that's going to like what Trump's doing, because he's got a right to get his revenge. And this is a country of power. We exercise our power and our authority in groups. And Trump is getting together his groups, and he's using the Department of Justice and the intelligence agencies, and he's going after these motherfuckers with it. And I don't hold it against him. As a matter of fact, I'm only hate the fact that he's going after colleges and going to give reparations to white people. I don't like that. Why are you taking out all your aggravation on black people? Black people as a group didn't come after you. And another thing too, this is a white man's fight. Sometime during this administration, some very offensive shit's going to happen that's going to ignite protest. And Trump is going to use the exact same things that were used from a Democratic perspective, from his perspective. In other words, there are going to be bots that are going to be stirring up people on social media platforms to ignite protest and incite protests. They're going to be fake leaders of Antifa and the new Black Panther Party that are going to be inciting people online. And for anybody just dismisses all this, all these things were done during the Black Lives Matter movement. It wasn't just black, and the Kanika Jenkins case, for crying out loud, where these universities had these pilot programs that had all these, what do they call it, where they stir up the communities through social media as a, what do you call it, a test, as a experiment to see how it evolves and shit like this. Kind of like they did with the, those of y'all that know, a lot of y'all don't get, the Muslim Brotherhood, when we started doing that in Egypt. What is his name? Gaddafi's domain. That whole area up there, Sudan, all up through there, the United States had these social media bots that were just inflaming the communities, right? In order to force change and civil unrest. Well, they did all the same. We didn't just do it there. We also did it here in the United States. What I'm saying is, Trump could use those same methods, because you can't say they're illegal. He used the same intelligence agencies, the same Department of Justice, the same Department of Homeland Security to incite unrest in the communities. And then if you fuck around and participate in some of these protests for police brutality or whatever event they're going to create, what I'm telling you is they could just charge everybody with felonies. Because his main complaint in the last few weeks, I was listening to Glenn Beck, he said that he wanted the same treatment that Black Lives Matter got. He doesn't like the fact that people that were protesting on January 6th got long prison sentences. And people at Black Lives Matter didn't get prison sentences, even though they burned buildings and set buildings on fire and damaged cars and all kinds of shit like that. That's what they're saying right now. And Glenn Beck said that they should pardon all of the January 6th people. Pardon all of them. So, and then in the next breath, he'll say, well, except those that were violent against police. And then he'll turn around 5 seconds later and say, well, yeah, even them should be pardoned too, because if the police were involved in inciting it all, then you have to let everybody go. Right? Kind of like if there's a detective that's corrupt in a police department that framed somebody, then all his old cases, they will start to re-examine them and start letting people go because it's fruit from the poisonous tree, shit like that. They're using that philosophy right now. What's scary about this is, just as they release those people, they're going to start a new agenda. And when this new arrests start popping up, then they can just start handing out long prison sentences to Black Lives Matter protesters. And what I'm saying is, folks, when you see these events happen during these next 4 years, if you are African American, listen to me. This is a white man's war. And it's a white man's world. And don't you fucking get involved. I don't care if you're Republican, this shit's going to backfire on you too. Now, I'm telling you, be careful. Don't fucking participate. They're going to be handing out long, heart-breaking, heart-crushing prison sentences. Mark my words on that, because that's all Glenn Beck was talking about here day 4 yesterday. And I'm just saying, they can't wait for their turn to turn around and hand. It's as if, blacks sometimes get suckered into wanting to be super American, like Fannie Willis, prosecuting Trump to the utmost and shit, trying to act like she's in with the white people and stuff like that. What happens is white people aren't always successful. And if they're not successful, then now you have to, it's consequences behind this shit. Trump fucked around and got reelected. Now he has control of everything, so all these real important people are going to flee the United States, but your ass can't flee the United States. And not only that, they can extradite from some of these countries. All he's got to do is make a deal. Trump could call these damn presidents of these other countries, man, these prime ministers, cut a deal and say, no, we want you to release these people to our custody. We want you to extradite them to the United States. We got a warrant out for their arrest, and we want you to bring them here. And guess what? It's going to be a done deal. So this is a scary time we live in. I'm going to say it one more time. During the next 4 years, something bad's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a hurricane, and they leave the black communities out there in the hot sun without shit. Remember how they stood out there? Some of y'all don't remember. During Katrina, right? The white people stood out there on the bridge preventing blacks from leaving New Orleans. You forgot about that? They were standing on that bridge with shotguns. So even though no help was being given to the people that were in New Orleans, the white people would not let them leave New Orleans to get help in Mississippi and the surrounding areas. I'm saying is, you can't just ignore the fact that that happened. And you have to remember something worse than that can happen. Because remember, even then, they shipped a lot of people far away from New Orleans because that was what their goal was. Because that mayor, I can't think of his name, he was saying that New Orleans will always be a chocolate city and doing all that bragging and boasting and shit. And they said, okay, we'll fix this shit. And so as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, he's, I'm telling you, listen, there's a book. The book is called The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. You really want to know? Buy that fucking book. Don't watch the video. The video's free on YouTube. No. Get the fucking book. It's called The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. The first page in that book, Arnold Schwarzenegger said, what we could not do, Katrina did for us. And they tried to ship as many people as they could far away from New Orleans so it no longer be a chocolate city. They just couldn't do it. But they tried. My point is, they tried. This second bite of the apple is, what preferred communities do they want to de-African Americanize or decolorize? Or which places do they want decolored? Miami? I don't know. What places do they really covet that they want to change the people that live there currently? You have to consider that. And you cannot exaggerate the danger of whatever catastrophes or police violence that pops up these next 4 years. If you are black, don't participate in those marches. He cannot wait to hand out long prison sentences to people that are conspiracy to go to the damn protest, conspiracy to participate in the unrest. Because all these is long prison sentences. Not just because you didn't you didn't hurt nobody, you didn't break a window. No, you were in the crowd. You participated. You conspired. You sent a text message with a laughing emoji. I'm telling you, listen to Matt Gaetz talk over and over about the fact that Black Lives Matter is not treated in the same way as the January 6th protesters. That's all they're talking about right now. This is scary shit. So if you're black, go to work, pay your goddamn bills, say yes sir, no sir, don't bring up no discrimination shit. If you're somewhere and your employer is a prejudice or racist, secretly just find a way to another job. Don't file no lawsuit. Don't stir up no fucking trouble. These next 4 years, you don't have to listen to me. These next 4 years is scary. And if you can't see it, it's because you're not looking. I will say it again. Turn on these damn AM radio stations during the day and listen to what these right-wing fuckers are talking about. And also listen to this Oreo cookie-ass nigga named David Webb on Sirius XM. It's called the Patriot Channel. In the morning. I can't remember what time he comes on. But in the morning, it's called David Webb. Remember Jason Bourne? Jason Bourne's name was David Webb. That's why I remember his name. David Webb, this Negro. Listen to shit he said. He was in Trump's White House helping them make these fucking designing shit. He said that they should destroy these agencies so bad that it would take 50 years to rebuild them. This one Negro, David Webb. Hold on, there's a lot of them out here. I'm saying, yeah. Anyway, look, let me just stop. I'm gonna end the video, but just keep in mind, folks. Some of y'all act like there's nothing going on. You T-Hill types, there's nothing going on. I don't know. Oh yeah, what's going on now is it's when you see people starting to discuss leaving, or people talking about Rachel Maddow needs to get a lawyer because the intelligence agencies were just talking with her and conspiring with her of how to best set up Trump and demean his name and bring him down and all these types of shit. These are conspiracies. All these motherfuckers is going to catch cases. They are putting cases on everybody. And he's got a right to. I would, wouldn't you? He's getting his revenge is going to be terrifying. And best bet is to just fall in line, say yes sir, no sir, do your goddamn job every day, and stay away from this new Black Panther Party shit, this Nation of Islam shit. Stay away from any agency at all. Don't go near no Black Lives Matter protest. Act like nothing happened. You only have to do this for 4 years. It might be 8 years. Trump might fuck around and run a third term. You know how they say you can only run 2 terms? He may challenge that. Because the president is the one that changed it. Well, then the president can also increase it again. If a president reduced it, the number of terms, then a president can increase the number of terms. So don't be fooled, because the stuff he's talking about doing, a lot of people support, including me. I just don't like the fact that he's getting ready to be hard on. Why is African Americans always a scapegoat? No matter what happens, this is a white man's war. They decide what they want to be. Okay, somebody decided, they want to have a nation full of faggots. Excuse me, I said it wrong. Full of alternative lifestyle individuals and trans people and all these types of things. And they want to promote it in schools and all these types of things. Somebody decided that that was a good idea. And what I'm saying is that I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be whatever you want to be. You have a right to pursue any kinkiness that you so desire. What I'm saying is you don't have a right, or shouldn't have a right, to promote that type of behavior and multiply it in our grade schools, junior high schools, middle schools, high schools. We shouldn't be teaching this shit in schools. That's my personal belief. We shouldn't be giving sex changes to inmates. I do not agree with that shit. I'm saying is some of the things these people are complaining about are valid arguments, and they are going to fuck around. And in this instance, if you say Satan or Lucifer is the god of this world, damn it, his revenge is going to be sweet right now. It's going to be earth-shattering, the things they're getting ready to do. Earth-shattering. Just imagine. Earth-fucking-shattering. And those are my thoughts for the moment.